Hello friends, welcome to Code Maestro. Today I am going to explain you how to develop a game by using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. The game which I am going to show you today is Find the Penguins. In this game we have totally 9 tiles. Behind each of the cloud we have 9 type of penguin images. So the penguin images will be different types, and there is a penguin called Yeti. That penguin is like a ghost. So if we click on the Yeti image, the game will be over. So every time while the window is reloading, the penguin images will be shuffled, and the Yeti image will we can't able to find where the Yeti image will be there. So, for example, if I am clicking, oh, for the first time itself, I got the Yeti image, so the game will be over. So, I will get the alert box, roar, game over, start a new game. If I am click on OK, the window will be reloaded. So, next time when I am clicking on the same tile, the different penguin will be there. So, the Yeti image will be shuffled every time. Not only the Yeti image, all of the 9 penguin images will be shuffled every time when the window is reloaded. So now I am going to start the game. So I am clicking on each of the cloud. So I got the Yeti again. So the game got over like that. So only thing is that if we click the penguin image at the 9th time, at the last, so at the time you will win the game. So come on, let us try that. So I am clicking all of the images. We can see whether we are. Oh God! So we clicked at the 8th time. So again the game got over. So like that every time the 80 will be shuffled and we need to complete the game. So if we click the 80 image at the 9th time, yeah, we got that. Now I am going to click the 9th time. So we know that already the 80 image only will be there in the 9th place. So now if I am clicking the game, I will get congratulations, you won the game. This is the Find the Penguin game. To develop this game, I am going to create a folder structure. So inside the game coding, I am going to create a folder, find the penguin. I already created find the penguins. Inside this folder, I have created 4 folders. The first folder is CSS. So the first thing in the game is we want one view page. So we want one HTML page. For that, I have created one folder named view, and we have all the images, all the text in our view pages. So next thing is we need to add some decoration to our game. So if you see here in this game, the background is blue color and the image size, everything we need to fix. So for that we want one CSS folder. Inside the CSS folder, I am going to create one CSS file. In that I am going to define all of my styles for the text and the images. So everything I am going to do there. And the next one is JavaScript. So we got the page, we got the colorful page. So we have all the images, we have all the text styles. But how to convert this page to a dynamic one? So how to convert this page to a game? So for that we need one JavaScript file. So JavaScript file, we will be writing a logics. So that logics will make our static page to a game. So for that we need one JavaScript folder, and I have one more folder called images. So I am going to keep all my images inside the images folder because organizing the files is very important in web development. So if I go inside the images, we can able to see all the images. So I have many images inside it. So I will be using all these images from this folders. Now I have opened this folder in the VS Code, and I have created index.css inside the CSS folder and app.js inside the JavaScript and index.html inside the view page. So here first first we are going to create a HTML page. For that, the first tag I am going to use is HTML tag. Inside the HTML tag only we will add all our other tags. So next tag I am going to use is the header. Inside the header only we will normally add all our styles, JavaScript and title, everything. So first I am going to add a title to this page. So I am going to give a title as backup penguin. So you can give any of the title like find the penguin like that. You can give any title inside that. And and the next one is next thing I am going to do is I am going to add my CSS script to my page. So how can I do that? Means link rel equal to you need to give it a style sheet. We are going to include a style sheet and href is equal to we need to give two dots because we are inside the view page, so we need to go outside the view page, so we need to give two dots. And if you give control space you can able to see all your files. So yeah, double dot space slash if you give means you can able to see all your folders. Now our css file is inside the css folder, so inside the css we have index.hcss. So like that we can add our style sheet. Next thing what we are going to do is we are going to add our JavaScript. For that we need to use script tag. Script src is equal to name double dot slash. If you give you will get the JavaScript folder. Inside that we are going to include our app.js. So like that we included our JavaScript file and the index.css file. After doing that, I am going to run this folder. This is the page that we created. This is the blank page. We didn't include any images or text inside it. Just we created one page and we added the title. So the title which we added is will be displayed here. So next thing is we need to add the images to our HTML file. So for that I am going to write the body. Inside the body only we will write all our we will include all our images. Heading tag is like for the headers. So title, style sheet and JavaScript we will add there, and next in the body only we will include all our images. So I am going to use images. So for that image src we need to use image tag. So we need to include the source of the image. Before creating the image, we need one container for keeping all our images. So container is like yeah. If you see in this game, we see all our images are there inside this block. So this is the container. So we are going to keep our images inside a container. So for that we will be using a division tag. So division tag will create you one separate division inside our HTML page. So I am going to use a division, and in division we are going to give an id. So div id is equal to I am going to keep it as penguin container. So inside this penguin container, I am going to keep all our images. So for that, I am going to use image container. Image src is equal to, we need to include the path of the image. So inside the images, first thing, mount one dot penguin is like, now I will show you how the image will be there. So mount one is like this cloud image. So if you see in the game, at first the cloud one day it is displaying. So we need to include the cloud at first. So for that one day I am going to include the mount one in my first image. And we need to give one name to this image. So I am going to give the name as image. And I'm going to give a unique ID to each of these images. So I'm keeping it as penguin 0. And finally, I'm going to close this image tag. So like that, I'm going to include totally 9 images. So the name I am going to give it as same img only. For id I am going to give it as unique. So that we can access each of the images by using this unique id. So now we included all our images inside this penguin container. Once we included this image, as I already told, the images will be shuffled every time. To make that image shuffled, I am going to invoke a method called display image. So that function will be inside the JavaScript page. So from the CSS, I am going to invoke that method. So for that, I am going to use the onClick functionality. So on-click functionality is like while clicking on the image, you are getting the different type of penguin images. So if we click that image, we will get different images. On clicking, I will be invoking a method called display image. And I am going to pass the ID inside it. I am going to pass the ID as a argument. ID means index number I am going to pass. And inside the body, I am going to invoke one method called random. So that random method will shuffle my images every time while loading the image, while loading the HTML page. It will shuffle the image by random. So I am calling this random method every time when the page is getting loaded. Okay, now I will show you how our page is looking like. Now we got all our 9 images, but the 9 images are not arranged properly. So we need to add all our styles and arrangements in the CSS file. So all the images will be get organized like a game. So now I'm going to give a inspect element for this page. So if I inspect, I can able to see the error like reference error random is not defined. We have added the random function, but the random function is not there inside our JavaScript. So we are getting this error. And next error we are getting is display image. So once we click on the image, it is invoking the display image method, but the display image function is also not defined inside our JavaScript file. So we are getting these type of errors. So by using the inspect element, you can able to see all of the errors and mistakes what we are doing. Okay, now we can go to our CSS page and we can add all our styles. Now we are going to add all the style for our game. To do that, I have created a index.css file inside the CSS folder. So before adding the style, we can go to our game and see the view page, how it is looking like. If you see in our game, the background color is light blue color. So now we are going to add that background color for our game. So inside the index.css, I am going to add the body. So inside the body, I am going to set our background color. So if you add the background color inside the body tag, the background color will be applicable for all the tags inside the body tag. So I am going to set that background color as, if you give control space, you can able to see all the colors. You can use any of these color. So now I am going to use this aqua color and I am going to save my file. And if I am reloading my game, you can able to see the background color as aqua blue color. So this is the first step of our styling. Next is we are going to create a division for our penguins. To keep all the penguin images, we are going to create a division tag. So if you see in the index.html, we have already created that division and we have kept that ID as penguin container. You can use either ID or class. If you use ID, you need to use the symbol # while writing the style in our CSS stage. So in the hash, I am going to copy that ID and I am going to place this, and inside the penguin container, I am going to set the width for my division. So the width will be, I am going to keep it as 600 pixels, and I am going to provide the margin. So margin left as auto and margin right also auto. If you keep it as auto, it will place our division at the center of our HTML page. Now if I'm reloading it, you can able to see all my images are placed at the center. So like that we can able to set our division tag. And the next thing is we are going to add this title. If you see this find the penguin is not a text, we are going to add an image for it. So inside the index.html we have separate division for this title. So I'm going, and we have already kept that as ID. So I'm going to use as ash title. Inside that I'm going to mention the width and height. So width of this title will be 600 pixels, same as our division, and height will be 150. So you can keep whatever you like. So I'm going to keep it as 150 pixels, and I'm going to add the image source img. So that is background image. So background image will be our title image. So to keep the images, we need to use URL, and inside the bracket you need to add the path, single quotes, dot dot. You need to come outside of the index.css, and you need to come outside the CSS folder. So like for that I am going to give double dot, and if you give controls, and you need to give one slash, and if you give control space, you can able to see all the folders available. So I am going to use images folder, and inside the images folder I am going to use the title. So if you give control space, and if you say you have this title, so you can use this image, and you can save it. And now if you go to our game and if you reload it, you can able to see our title. So we have seen the title that is placed at the center. Because we have placed our division at the center, so inside our division only our title is also there, so it is also placed at the center. This is the easy technique to place our title in center. So if you didn't use this methodology, it will be very difficult for you to place this title at the center. So for this we have used it. Next thing we are going to do is we are going to set the size for our penguin images. For that, if you see in the index.html, we have multiple IDs for each of the images. So we need to set the styles for all of these images. So I am going to use hash same ID. So I am going to copy this ID here, and I am going to place it. And the first one is penguin 0. So inside this penguin 0, you need to fix the height and width. So height I will be fixing it as 200 pixels, and width will be also 200 pixels, and float will be left. So if you keep left, all the images will be floated at the left side. So it will be easy for you to handle it. And why I am keeping it as 200 pixels means we have already fixed our division width as 600 pixels. Inside our division only all our images are there. So if you keep 200 for each image, totally for the 3 images it will be 3 into 200, 600. So it will be placed perfectly. And I am using the height also 200. If you keep both height and width the same, the image will look like a square. So that is your wish. So you can keep anything. But if you increase the width, the image won't get placed properly. So you need to keep exactly 200 for each of the images. Yeah, now I have added all of the penguin elements in my style. Because for all of the images we are going to follow the same height and width, and I am going to use same float is left. So instead of adding again and again, I have added by using the comma. So you can use this and you can effectively write the style for our HTML pages. So from penguin 0 to penguin 8, I am going to follow the same height, width and float. So now if I am going to my project, you can able to see all my elements are placed properly at the center of my web page. So now if you go to the inspect, you can able to see each of the images. So if you hover over the image, you can able to see the size as 200 cross 200. And if you see the title, it is 600 cross 150. And if you see this division, you can able to see the size. So like that you can able to see all the size of your web page. So next is the next thing we are going to do is in our game. If you see in our game, if you hover over an image, you will be able to see a question mark. So this is the one more image we are going to place. So we are going to use the CSS property called hover. Hover is like if you bring the mouse near the image, it is called as hover. And when the image is hover, we are going to display one more image. This is the logic we are going to use for this. So for that, we can go to our CSS style page, and we are going to apply this hover for all of the penguin elements. But this hover image is not same for all of the tiles, so it will be different. So there is no so we can't able to add everything in a single style, so we need to add it separately. So first thing is I'm going to add the penguin 0. So for the penguin 0, if it is hover, I am going to replace the image, background image. I am going to hover the background image and I am going to change the image. So if I give control space, you have mount one hover. So like that we are going to do it for all of the 9 penguin elements. So after adding all the background images, we need to add one more CSS property, which is cursor pointer. You need to add this because if you didn't add it, the hover won't appear. So we need to add this cursor pointer. So if you bring the cursor pointer near that image, your image will be hovered and you will get the another image. So I am going to add this cursor pointer everywhere. Yeah, now I have added all the hover logic for all of the penguin elements. So now if I go into my game and I am reloading, you can able to see the hover is working for all of the images. So now we have completed all of our CSS styling, and next we are going to see about the JavaScript logics. So if you see in our index.html, we have used two methods. One is random method and another one is a display image method. This random method is used to shuffle all the images whenever the page is loaded, and this display images to display that images. So all the two methods we are going to see now. So coming to the app.js, I have already added that code for that logics. So first method we are going to see is that random method. So in the random method, first I am going to store all the path of the images in one array. So because we are going to shuffle the images, so I am going to use an array for it. So I have stored all the path in the penguins array. So and I have used two variables, variable I and j and temp. So I am keeping the temp as null. So and next is for I have added one for loop. Inside the for loop, I am starting the iteration from penguins.length -1. So if you see the length of this penguin array will be 9. So I am starting it from 8. So you all know that array index will start from 0. So the images are placed from 0 to 8th index. So I am going to start it from 8th index, and I am checking whether it is greater than or 0, and I am decrementing it each time. And when coming inside it, I am using the math.random method, which is the inbuilt method in JavaScript. If you give math.random in console.log, if I am giving console.log of math.random, you can able to see it is producing one big decimal number, but we can't able to find the positions with this decimal number. So we are converting that decimal number to so we are using this floor logic and we are converting it to some absolute value. So first I am doing that. And why I am multiplying it by I? Because I is the current I value. So every time when it is coming inside, I will be generating a random number which is less than I. If I give into I, it will multiply a number which is always less than the I. If the, let us consider for the first iteration, the I value will be 8. So the random number will be some big decimal number and going to multiply it by 8. So it will give a number which is always less than 8. So for that logic, I am using this method random. So because we have the array indexes from 0 to 8, so the random number should be between them. So for that, I am using this logic. And for your understanding, I have given console.log. So whenever you reloaded your page, you can able to see these random numbers. So this 2 is that we got the random numbers 2 times. If you see, you got 3 2 times, 0 2 times, and again 0 2 times. So it will vary each and every time. So if you see, you got all this. So like that, we are going to generate this random number, and we have stored that random digit in a J. And the next thing is we are going to store that penguins of I. If you see, the first time I value will be 8. So we are going to keep the 9th. So that is the 80 image. So we are going to keep that 80 image inside the temp first. And then I am going to keep the penguins of J. Let us consider in this scenario, the first J value is 3. So I am going to keep the third image, that is penguin 4. So I am going to keep the penguin 4 in the penguin 4 in the position of penguin 8. So it will be shuffled. And after that, I am going to add this 80 image in the position of penguin J. If you see the penguin J, it is we already have penguin of J, we have penguin 4. So 80 will be replaced here. Like that, we are going to shuffle all the images whenever the page is reloaded. But we are going to shuffle the image. But if you see here, I have shuffled all the images, but I am not able to see it here because we are not displaying the image. Whenever the window is reloaded, we are just shuffling the image, but we are not displaying it. When we should display it means whenever the image is clicked, we should display that image. So for that only we are using the image on click. When we are clicking on that image, it will call the display image method. So this display image method will display that particular shuffled image. So if I am coming here, actually while loading itself in the penguin array, the image is shuffled. So whenever the image is clicked, first time it will come the in the function we are passing 0. So if it comes here, you can able to see I value as 0. So if the I value, and I am checking whether the penguins of 0. So whether the first position is not the 80 image. I am checking whether it is not the 80 image. If it is not the 80 image only, I am going to show that image. If it is a 80 image, I am going to over my game. So first time, if it is not a 80 image, I am going to display it. And in the else block, if it is a 80 image, we need to display that alert. So like road, the game has end, start a new game, like that we need to show the alert. So if you see in the if block, we are using document.getElement by ID method. This JavaScript method will get the element by its ID. So we already have all our images with the ID as penguin 0 to penguin 8. If you see here, I am getting each of the elements by using penguin plus I. So every time what is the ith value I am getting, so it will be appended to that penguin. So it will become penguin 0 to penguin 9. So it will be between that. Between penguin 0 to penguin 9, it will be any value. And at the time, we are going to replace it by penguins of I. In the penguins of I, we have that image path and its source. So we are going to add the source for that image. So it will be penguins of I. Penguins of I will return the path. Like that, we are going to return in the if block. If it is not a 80 image, we are going to do that. If it is a 80 image, we are going to add an alert. So if you see here in the else block, again I am using the document.getElementById. I am going to get the penguin element and I am going to update it I, and I am going to replace it by the penguins of I. So I am going to display that anyhow. I am going to display it. Even though it is a yeti, I am going to display it. But what is the thing is, after displaying, certainly we should stop the game. That is the logic. So actually we can directly add the alert here. Why I am checking this count not equal to 8 logic means, because if it is the alert, right, it won't wait. Whenever the alert is there, it won't wait for the image to display and all. Directly it will be displayed. So I have given some timeout condition. If the count is not equal to 8, if the yeti only when the yeti image is displaying between 0 to 8th time only, we are going to over the game. Otherwise, if the yeti image is clicked at the last, consider we are clicking the yeti image at the 8th time. At the time it will be success. So I am checking whether the count is not equal to 8. At the time I added one timeout. This timeout will delay this my function by 500 milliseconds. So whenever the yeti image is clicked, it will display the yeti image and it will wait for 500 milliseconds, and then only we will get that alert. For that I am using this set timeout method. So whenever I have give some function inside the set timeout, it will invoke that function. So it will directly come to this function, my function. Here I have given the alert. So this alert will display the message, game over, start a new game. This message will be displayed in the alert button. Otherwise, if the image is clicked at the last time, so if you consider we have clicked the image, we are going to click the image at the 8th time. So at the time we have won the game. So at the time we will provide the alert simply, congratulations, you have won the game. So this is the logic we are using for this game. So now I am going to show you how to play it. So now our game is ready. So all our images are shuffled. So I am going to click the images one by one and I am going to see where the yeti image will be there. So if you see the yeti came here. So once the yeti image is displayed, after 500 milliseconds only you got this alert. So if you didn't add that method, the yeti image won't be displayed. Directly it will show the alert and the game will be stopped. So for that only we use that set timeout method. If you see here, again the yeti image got shuffled. So again the game have ended. So like that we can play this game. If you develop this game completely, you can able to learn HTML, CSS and JavaScript very easily. And thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, please subscribe to Code Maestro. Thank you.